Hello, third grade. Before we even open up our book, we're going to take a look at the vocabulary for today. This is the lesson for April 21st, Tuesday, and we are going to be covering Captive Treasure, pages 294 to 297. But before you even open up your book, let's take a look at this list of vocabulary words. You can go ahead and pause the video and read these sentences yourself. The vocabulary words are underlined. As you read each sentence, you need to look at all the words in the sentence to help you figure out the meaning of the word. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and read 1 through 4 out loud to you, and we will discuss a little. The family gave a portion of their food to the hungry man. Portion. So when I read this sentence, I'm picturing a family and a hungry man. The family had food, and they gave a portion of their food to the hungry man. So I'm thinking that portion means a part of, or a little part of the whole amount of food. Number 2, her dad put a restraining hand on her shoulder to prevent her from stepping into the busy street. So I'm picturing the girl walking on the sidewalk, about to walk into the street, and her dad puts his hand out on her shoulder. A restraining hand. What kind of hand? A restraining hand to prevent her from stepping into the street. So what is this hand doing? It must be holding her back so that she won't keep walking. So restraining, like holding back, keeping you from doing something. Number 3, the football player stalked away when his coach took him out of the game. So I'm picturing a football player in the game. He's playing, and of course football players love to be in the game, but his coach took him out of the game. He's like, hey, you get out of the game, 24 out. And so the football player stalked away. So you have to imagine that you are the football player, and how would you go off of the field? Would you be like, skipping off because you're so happy, or stalking away? I think that he would feel angry. And how do people walk when they're angry? Kind of stalking away. You could get up and stalk around your room right now if you wanted to. Number 4, the sounds of the band instruments at the parade vibrated loudly through the air. So you had to picture a band, a whole bunch of people who are playing instruments. The drums, the clarinet, the flutes, all of the band instruments. The tuba, they vibrated loudly through the air. Well, you should remember from science that sound waves travel through the air. They're vibrations that go through the air. Very good job with your vocabulary words. Now, if you will go ahead and open up your book to page 294. Before you read today, we're going to ask some review questions. Remember, in our story, we are reading about the Cheyenne Indians, are a big part of the characters in our story. Now, where does the first part of the story take place? What did we learn reading yesterday? Where does this story take place? I remember there being the word wilderness. Carrie said that it looked like a wilderness. What else? Mountains, a creek. The setting of the story. Remember, in the beginning of a story, you should be determining the setting, where and when the story takes place. Who is the main character of the story? Carrie Talbot. What problem did Carrie encounter? To encounter means to come up against, or you experience it. Well, she was taken captive by a young Indian warrior who takes her away from the wagon train. Her family were settlers or pioneers heading west into the Great Plains, and an Indian warrior took her captive and took her away from the wagon train. Now, today, while you read your story, before I have you get off, I have a question that I want you to ask. Yesterday, you were to ask yourself, how did the diagram help you understand the story? And you should continue to look back at that diagram on page 288 to help you understand the story when you come across those words in the story. You should also be continuing to ask yourself the questions of why do the Cheyenne, do you remember what the question was, the second question? Turn to page 288 and let's look at that quote, 289. Why do the Cheyenne think Carrie's Bible is like their medicine bundle? You want to keep asking yourself that question. And today, while we read part 2 of the story, there's an additional question that I want you to be asking yourself. And here it is. Ask yourself, what do Kerry and the Indians believe? When you read a story, you should be able to figure out, or what we call infer, what a character's beliefs are. So you're going to be looking at what does Kerry say and what does she do that shows us what she believes. And what do the Indians say and do that help us figure out what they believe? So at this time, I want you to go ahead and you'll pause the video while you read pages 294 to 295 silently. All right, good job reading. What did you ask yourself this question? What do Carrie and the Indians believe? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and ask you some more questions. I'll go ahead and stop sharing this question for now. What is the setting in this section of the story? What is the setting in this section of the story that you just read on 294 and 95? Well, in the story, we saw that there's a broad valley, a creek, and a village with teepees on both sides of the creek. Why do you think the warriors yell and race through the village? Why do they yell and race through the village? Well, they want everyone to know they have returned from their raid. Remember what the question yesterday when you read? What was the purpose of that raid? Well, they wanted to take those horses back and back to their village so that everybody would admire them. What does the Indian do with Carrie? At this time, you should look at page 294 and see if you can find the answer if you do not remember. You could pause it and find the answer. Well, on this page, the illustration shows us what did the Indian do with Carrie? Well, he lifts her high into the air for all to see. If you were Carrie, how would you feel if this happened to you? How would you feel? Well, now look at page 295. What is the Indian's name who lifts Carrie up into the air? Do you see it there on the top of the page? I, Swift Arrow, have brought you the daughter of the sun, he called. Come and see. What are the Cheyenne people interested in when they see Carrie? So they're looking at Carrie. What are they interested in? Her hair. And what is the name of the warrior who attacks Carrie? Find that on the page, 295. Lone Wolf. Why do you think the villagers laugh when Lone Wolf stalks away and yells at them? There's the vocabulary word, stop. Well, maybe they laugh because they know Lone Wolf. Maybe he acts like that a lot, so it makes them laugh at him. That could be possible. What is the medicine bundle? Do you remember on page 288? I'm going to show you a picture of a Cheyenne medicine bundle. This is the contents. We can see the arrows that are inside the medicine bundle. And if you look back on page 288 and you look at that diagram again and reread what it says about a medicine bundle. A medicine bundle was a bundle of arrows. Do you see the arrows there in the picture behind me? Believed to bring spiritual life, protection, and wisdom. So the Cheyenne Native Indians, Native Americans, believed that it would bring them spiritual wisdom, protection. And so what is the medicine bundle of amazing power that Swift Arrow is talking about? Look on the page 295. The second to last paragraph says, she holds the medicine bundle of amazing power. What is it that he is talking about? Well, if you said Bible, then you are correct. He was calling her Bible a medicine bundle. If you remember your question that you were supposed to be asking yesterday, what is your answer to it today? Why do the Cheyenne Indians call the Bible the medicine bundle? At this time, go ahead and pause the video again and read the last two chapters the last two pages for today, page 296 and 297. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay, on page 296, what is the job of the keeper? What does the author tell us? What is the job of the keeper? Well, the job of the keeper was to keep and protect the tribe's medicine bundle, like this one that you see behind me, the medicine bundle. Why does the chief say that the warriors return empty-handed now? Why does the chief say that the warriors returned empty-handed now? Pause the video if you need to find the answer. Well, the arrows from the medicine bundle were stolen. So the buffalo child is punishing them. That is what he said. Now, the Indian religious beliefs, they're different from what Christians believe. Okay? In the Indian religious beliefs, they have superstitions, things that they believe something bad will happen. If this happens, then something bad is going to happen. A superstition. Like sometimes in our culture in America, there's superstitions. Like people used to say, if you walked underneath a ladder, then you might get hurt just walking underneath the ladder. And there's other superstitions that are part of our culture. But the Indian religious beliefs, they had a superstition that includes thinking that there is a buffalo child or a God. They believed in other gods besides our God of the Bible, the creator of the whole world. They believed that there was a buffalo child or a God who would punish them, okay? So how is Swift Arrow related to the keeper? Can you see on page 295? How is Swift Arrow related to the keeper? Pause it. Okay, he is his grandson. What does the keeper do that makes Kerry give the Bible to him? The keeper did something that made Kerry give the Bible to him. What did he do? Well, he put his hand on Kerry's shoulder and looked at her kindly. He also handled the Bible very carefully. Do you remember when you would go get your Bible from the cubby in the classroom? Did you carry it carefully back to your desk? I hope you would have never thrown it back into your cubby. I hope that you would have carried your Bible with reverence and respect for our Bible. What does the keeper say about the Bible? Well, he said that he saw a similar book, a book like it, before that belonged to a teacher at Fort Laramie, and that the book contained the words of the Great Spirit. That is what the keeper said. Is the keeper talking about God? Do you think the keeper was talking about God, like the true God of the Bible? Well, no. He was talking about the Great Spirit that the Indians worshipped. And that Great Spirit was not the true God, because what they believed about the Great Spirit is not what the Bible tells us about God, the one and only true God, creator of the heavens and earth. They believed different things about who they called the Great Spirit. What does the chief say that Kerry will stay? Why does the chief say that Kerry will stay with the keeper? The chief said that Kerry will stay with the keeper. Why did the chief say that? Well, they believe that Kerry has the medicine bundle, and the keeper's job is to keep the bundle in his tent. So they now believe that Kerry has the medicine bundle, and the keeper is supposed to protect him. Now look at page 297. Look at that illustration. Who is that holding that book, and what is that book? Does Kerry understand everything the chief and keeper say? What do you think? No, but she does recognize some of the words that the scout had taught her. Just know that in the earlier chapters of the book, The Sacred Treasure, remember it comes from a whole book. We're only seeing 2 chapters of the whole book. Earlier in the book, before what we're reading, there was a scout for the wagon train that had taught Kerry's family some of the words in the Cheyenne language. Okay. Right now on page 297, why were Kerry's spirits lifted? When we say somebody's spirits are lifted, we mean that they feel happier. Why were her spirits lifted? Well, it's because she sees the keeper treat the Bible with reverence. Reverence means you're treating it as if it's holy. You're revering it with a fear of doing something bad to it or being disrespectful, okay? When you show reverence, you show great respect. It's like we revere and show respect to our Bible more than any other book. We should never drop it on the floor or throw it. You've been taught that, right? You've been taught that in school. And our flag, the flag of the United States of America, we are to revere that flag. We are to never let it touch the ground. And people who are in the military, like some of your parents, have been taught even more so to treat a flag with great reverence, to never ever let it touch the ground, to never burn it, to never throw it in the garbage. Last question, why is the keeper's lodge large and well constructed? His lodge, the place where he lives, was large and well constructed. Why? Well, yes, he was considered a man of power in the tribe. That's what it says in the second paragraph there. Right, before I let you go, I'm going to ask you some questions to just review all of those pages that we just read before you do your worksheet. Here's some questions. Where does Swift Arrow take Kerry? So he got Kerry. Where did he take Kerry? How does Swift Arrow introduce Kerry to the chief? So he introduced Kerry to the chief. How did he introduce her? What did he say about her? What did he call her? What does Swift Arrow think of Kerry's Bible? What does Swift Arrow think of Kerry's Bible? Why does Kerry follow the keeper into his lodge? She followed the keeper into his lodge. Why did she do that? Well, Swift Arrow took Kerry to his village. When Swift Arrow introduced Kerry to the chief, he referred to Kerry as the daughter of the sun. The sun. Why did Swift Arrow What did Swift Arrow think of Carrie's Bible? Well, Swift Arrow thought that the Bible was a medicine bundle of amazing power. And Kerry followed the keeper into the lodge because the keeper was in charge of the medicine bundle, which the tribe no longer has. Swift Arrow believed that the Bible had amazing power, so the keeper treats it with reverence. Kerry will remain with the keeper until the chief decides what to do, so she had to follow him. Let's look back one more time at the question that you were to ask while you were reading. What do Kerry and the Indians believe? What does Kerry believe? Well, we should know that Kerry believes in the Bible. She believes in the one true God if she believes in the Bible. God of heaven and earth, Jesus. That we can all live with God in heaven one day if we believe that Jesus died on the cross and was buried and raised again on the third day. But what do the Indians believe? Well, we can see that they believe in a great spirit. They believe in a God called the Buffalo Child that punishes them. They believe in a medicine bundle that brings them good fortune. What else have you learned the Indians believe? Well, this is the end of your reading time today. Now it's time for you to take out your worksheet, page 231, and answer those questions. Read them carefully, and I know that the questions that during our time today will help you answer those questions on your worksheet. Thank you. I miss you. Have a great rest of your day. You did a great job.